if the cashier is dummy.
Questions?
And Randy, the first edition involves a shootout.
This happened in the East Bay where two Teslas were getting into a little road rage, and one of them shot at the other one, and that one had to self-drive himself to the hospital.
Well, Teslas make such little noise. If one's sneaking up behind you because they plan on opening fire, you can't even hear them.
For more, here's KTVU, Fox 2 in the Bay Area.
Well, Claudine, I've learned it wasn't just one aggressive driver going after the other. In fact, I'm told it was two Tesla drivers who got into a rolling argument, and one of them shot the other.
Aren't you supposed to put that thing in auto drive and not care if someone cuts you off?
Yeah, I thought that was supposed to bring down the rage.
There's been another freeway shooting in the East Bay tied to road rage, this time near the Fremont-Newark border. It happened at about 5:30 Tuesday afternoon. I've learned the drivers of two Teslas were involved in a back-and-forth road rage incident on eastbound Highway 84 west of 880.
That usually seems to be the place where you don't want to cut anybody off because everyone's packing. It's always somewhere near 880.
Even the Teslas, all of the Enviros up there are packing. And if the Enviros are packing, you know everyone else is too.
One driver pulled in front of the other Tesla, got out, and began approaching the other driver, who threw something at him to make him stop. But he kept walking, which led the other Tesla driver to open fire. The victim was shot in the arm and drove himself to Washington Hospital in Fremont. Our cameras caught his car out front, covered in blood.
Oh, boy, that's going to be hard to get that out of those floors.
Yeah, no kidding.
The other Tesla was spotted heading south on 880, going at least 100 miles an hour, including on the shoulder. The shooting led the CHP to close eastbound lanes of Highway 84 until 7 in the evening to look for evidence. Officers are also checking the victim's Tesla and freeway cameras and license plate readers for any leads. Freeway shootings in the Bay Area are down compared to the same time last year. There have been 39 reported shootings so far in 2025.
Wait, that's down?
If that's true, that's totally pathetic.
Well, this is the thing. There's a lot of claims that certain crimes are down because they're not as bad as 2023, but they're still obscene. It's still way above what it was pre-COVID and pre-riots.
And we know a lot of these crimes just aren't reported at all.
Freeway shootings in the Bay Area are down compared to the same time last year. There have been 39 reported shootings so far in 2025, with 6 hurt and 1 killed.
30-plus freeway shootings just in the Bay.
And if you think about it, the Bay Area is one of the wealthiest areas in the country. If this is what the rich people are doing, God help us.
Well, it's a lot of wealthy areas that surround Oakland.
That's very true.
There have been 39 reported shootings so far in 2025, with 6 hurt and 1 killed. Last year, there were 54 reported shootings, 16 hurt and 2 killed.
Well, wait a second. We still have quite a few months left in the year. We might break that record.
This is like the box score of a war zone.
Contra Costa County Prosecutor Mary Knox said cameras have helped decrease freeway shootings.
We heard actually defendants discussing on wiretaps the fact that cameras were going up and that the shootings, not to do shootings up on our freeways.
One driver we spoke.
They got cameras in that freeway. If we're going to shoot somebody, we got to do it back where we know no one's going to have any cameras. International Boulevard in Oakland.
Okay, is that any better if the shootouts happen on the side streets and not the freeways?
One driver we spoke to said he was once chased across the Dumbarton Bridge.
And I was not sure what this person was going to do. They kept blocking me off, and this cop told me just try to avoid it because people today might shoot you.
It is a fear of driving, whether it's Northern California or Southern California. The traffic is so awful, you do have a feeling that almost everybody on the road is one cutoff away from snapping.
Now, if you live in an area where there are a lot of burglaries, the cops will typically tell you to get a dog, or they'll tell you to get more lights, or they'll tell you to get cameras. What are they supposed to tell you if there's shootouts on the freeway right and left? Get one of those armored cars like a drug dealer in South America?
I guess you'd be safer on the BART.
let's not go that far.
And that combination with frustration and aggression with impulse control and stress is the perfect stew to create a road rage situation that gets out of control.
So the message here
Okay,
is pretty...
that sounds like a guy with a bunch of useless college degrees.
So the message here is pretty clear. Even if you feel wronged on the road, don't engage, don't honk, don't look at anyone, let it go. You don't want to be dead right. Live in Hayward.
That sounds like a PSA right there, Henry Lee.
We need one of those the more you know sounders.
You'd rather be wrong than dead right. But this is driving in California, and it's fascinating. You know, I'm sure there's a lot of people that went out of state for a summer vacation. Other states don't have this.
No, they don't. They used to, and then they figured out a way to clean it up.
Live in Hayward, Henry Lee, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
Henry, good advice. And I think the relevance of the Teslas here is that they're equipped with cameras, so it would probably record the incident. You're talking about the freeway cameras, but these cars as well could record what was happening in this road rage incident.
Right. This case is rife with the possibility of video surveillance and video evidence. Absolutely.
Okay. Henry Lee reporting live. Thank you, Henry.
I'm sure Elon would love if that video went viral of the two Teslas shooting at each other.
Like a Fast and Furious movie. You think Vin Diesel was in one of them? All right, Randy, it's time to reopen the blotter.
If the cashier is dummy.
Questions?
And this week, we've been spending a lot of time on the blotter in Van Nuys due to that nut with the train horn. But now we're going to move over to Northridge, a different part of the San Fernando Valley,
where there were two burglaries in the span of 30 minutes in the same area. Bet you feel great if you're sending your kids to CSUN this fall. Here's NBC4.
Developing news at this hour in Northridge. Police are searching for the people responsible for breaking into two homes. The break-ins happened just 30 minutes apart. NBC4's Gordon Tokomatsu is live in Northridge, where he's been speaking with neighbors there. Hi, Gordon.
Hi. You know, cops call this a hot prowl. That's when the person...
I do like that term.
Hot prowl?
A hot prowl.
Hi. You know, cops call this a hot prowl. That's when the person who calls 911 is actually at home while the break-in is occurring. It's very dangerous for obvious reasons. And last night it happened twice, both here and at another location.
I don't even know if we can call it a burglary of your home. At that point, it's a robbery.
Okay, and let's be honest. These locks on bedroom doors, I know that'll keep your kids out of your bedroom early on a Sunday morning. But is that really going to keep a crook, a thief, from kicking the door in?
947, the 9000 block of Van Alden. Target, a townhome where family members were inside. They called 911 after hearing someone breaking through a sliding glass door. When police arrived, the prowler was gone.
I came home and there was a bunch of cop cars.
Isaiah Meneses among the neighbors here who are rattled but not discouraged.
We have like a Ring doorbell. We have other things.
What's that going to do?
Yeah, it's just going to give us something to watch on YouTube.
I mean, it's great for the local news, and it's great to share on Nextdoor, but how many Ring doorbell videos have led to arrests? I would just love to see that number, because if there is a number there, LAPD is doing a terrible job of publicizing it.
What do you say to the burglar as they're in your house and you're on the phone and you've got them on videotape? Hey, Mr. Burglar, I know you're in the process of robbing me and you may even want to try to kill me or something else. But here's the deal. This is being recorded. Whether I live or die, the video will exist. And as I'm looking at it right now on my phone, I want to let you know that you look old and fat. And that is how you're going to be depicted on the news. Is that something you really want? This is L.A.
A vicious guard dog that's always here, but yeah, it is something that I think about every once in a while.
You may laugh at his vicious guard dog, Roxy, but even a small animal can make enough noise to scare an intruder away, say police. But this case has another component to it as well. 10:20 p.m., 17,000 block of Murphy Lane, just a few miles from the first break-in. A woman calls 911 and says a man in a black mask and hoodie was in her townhome here while she was with a child. Police arrived to find a broken window at the rear, but again, no prowler.
It's almost impossible to...
Why don't they check to find someone that's not home?
Yeah, these burglars don't seem to care, do they?
Almost impossible to fully avoid.
Ari Appellians lived here more than a decade. Like Isaiah at the other location, he's got measures in place to protect his home.
Cameras, alarms, but I don't think they're obviously foolproof. If someone wants to do something, they're going to try to do it.
We did a quick...
If cameras were really a deterrent, we wouldn't see the amount of burglaries that we're seeing in the valley. Everyone's got cameras.
No, I think cameras, lights, guard dogs, whatever. It's a placebo, so the cops can give you something to do that's proactive. So they just don't say, listen, you're a sitting duck. We're not going to be able to respond quickly enough to stop it. You're on your own.
We did a quick search of breaking and entering incidents on the LAPD's CopStat system to see how frequent this sort of thing is. Year to date, the total is actually down from last year.
Sure.
We believe that.
21 fewer break-ins in the area patrolled by the department's Devonshire division. So could these two hot prowls be related? If the LAPD knows it is not saying, it's only confirming that so far nobody has been arrested.
Well, John, what do we say about every single crime story that we ever do in the city of L.A.?
No arrests were made.
Live in Northridge, Gordon Tokumatsu, NBC4 News.
So there's what's going on in Northridge.
And keep in mind, the next time they talk about stats, no arrests were made. Which means when they say there are fewer people arrested this year for home break-ins than last year, that doesn't necessarily mean that fewer crimes were committed. It means that on paper, fewer people were arrested. All right, Randy, it's time to reopen the blotter.
If the cashier is dummy.
Questions?
And while we're in the San Fernando Valley, let's stay in the San Fernando Valley and move back to Van Nuys, although this time it doesn't involve any train horns. This time it involves an underground casino.
I feel like we've done quite a few of these stories recently where underground casinos kept being discovered in Van Nuys. And usually the way they're discovered is the cops are already chasing somebody, and this is where they decide to go hide out in. Except then it exposes the whole thing.
They hide behind the Buffalo machine?
For more, here's Fox 11.
We begin with breaking news in the San Fernando Valley, where police say they have found what might be another underground casino.
Gigi Graciette live in Van Nuys with this exclusive story. Gigi, good morning.
Bob and Brooke, good morning. Good morning, everyone. It appears that police officers stumbled onto what appears to be an underground casino, and they were led there by a suspect of all people who ran into the house trying to get away from police.
This is almost the exact same story that happened 3 months ago.
How pissed off do you think the casino is at this guy? Of all the places that he could have run to, he runs to an illegal casino, and now they're shut down.
It must make you feel good, Johnny. You may think you might have a problem that you need to go on a cruise ship every 3 weeks to gamble. There are some people, they need to gamble so bad, they're doing it in some guy's home in Van Nuys.
If I ever get to that point, you pledge to me right now you'll make me go to a meeting.
Take a look at the video. This one from Citizen App. The story starts at about just before 10 p.m. last night. That's when patrol officers spotted a known gang member who they knew was out on parole. And they also spotted what appeared to be a gun in his waistband. They tried talking to him. He didn't want to talk to them.
Boy, this parole system's working out great, isn't it?
And that's got to give you confidence as you're sitting there at the poker table when the gang member you're playing with has a gun on the table right next to his chips.
If we're going to let you out of prison, do you promise no more guns? Sure.
And they also spotted what appeared to be a gun in his waistband. They tried talking to him. He didn't want to talk to them. So he took off running, they tell me, with a buddy.
This guy was completely rehabilitated, huh?
Sounds like it.
So he took off running, they tell me, with a buddy. One buddy running onto a rooftop. The suspect running right into a home near Vesper and Hamlin in Van Nuys, very close to the Van Nuys police station. And there, police were surprised to find inside that home dozens and dozens of people, many of them running, jumping into cars, onto motorcycles, trying to get away. Eventually,
this is the dumbest gang member of all time. He led the cops right to the operation.
What do you think the people in the illegal casino thought? Do you think they thought, oh, God, the cops are here and we're going to get arrested for gambling illegally? Or did they think it was ICE and they were going to be sent home?
30 were detained for questioning, and inside the house, patrol officers saw what appeared to be an underground casino. Yet another underground casino, because they have been a huge problem here in the valley. The LAPD, very proactive. They've busted...
Morongo, 90 minutes from wherever you are. What's wrong with these people?
Hey, all you have to do is go to the port of L.A. and get on a cruise ship.
Chumash is 2 hours away, due north. What's going on? Pechanga is right up there in Temecula. If you really go to Jones, go 10 miles down the 5 and go to the Commerce Casino or the Bike, or try your luck at Hawaiian Gardens on the 710.
And in theory, all of those are regulated.
Very proactive. They've busted several of them already in the recent months. And now what appears to be yet another one. Of the 30 people, about 5 of them were taken into police custody. It turns out they all had warrants out for their arrest.
You don't say.
It sounds like a real classy clientele.
Warrants out for their arrest. As for the suspected gang member, he was also found hiding inside the house where he had cut off his GPS tracking bracelet. But
yeah, this parole system is just foolproof in California.
But that didn't stop police from taking him into custody. He's now being booked on parole violation and weapons charges for that.
You know what I would love to do? I want to publicize every person on that parole board that said that guy was fit to reenter society.
This house sounds like a dirtbag magnet.
For that reported gun. Reporting live this morning in Van Nuys, I'm Gigi Graciette. Back to you.
So there's the latest on yet another Van Nuys casino.
We live in a very interesting place. If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And Randy, now that we've passed the halfway point of today's show, if you want to continue listening to us after we sign off at 3, that's easy to do.
All you got to do is search for The John Phillips Show wherever you get your podcasts, whether it's the Apple Podcasts app, iHeart, Spotify. Search for The John Phillips Show. Hit subscribe. You could download all the episodes. You could do a Google on YouTube. You get the KABC app, the KSFO app. There are so many different ways to listen to our radio stations and download all the podcasts where you're going to find just hours and hours and hours of insightful commentary like Barbara Ferrer and Pamela Price's Dueling Banjos.
In the meantime, let's make a couple of listeners very happy.
Well, let's do that right now. Look at this, everyone. 790 KABC welcomes the Tony Award-winning musical comedy about corn, Shucked. It's coming to the Hollywood Pantages Theater on August 19th through September 7th. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com, but right now, caller number 9 at 1-888-790-5222 gets a pair of tickets to the show on August 28th. These tickets are furnished by the lovely Hollywood Pantages Theater. Good luck dialing.
Randy, when you were on vacation, we spent some time talking about how tipping culture has gotten out of control, where it's not just people who make your drink or bring you your food or cut your hair who get a tip. Now, if you buy a newspaper and a candy bar at the airport, they want a tip too. And when my nephew's high school cross-country team asked for a donation and I gave one, they asked me if I was willing to tip the robot who took the order. Not even a real person. And the consensus among the callers and the emailers was that, yes, they're getting exhausted with all of the tipping, too. Well, it's not just tipping where we're all being nickeled and dimed. In Las Vegas, the hotels collectively decided to charge us for parking if we drive to Sin City for a weekend of gambling. We didn't used to pay for that, but now we do. And it's not just in Las Vegas. If you go to a Hampton Inn in the middle of nowhere, many of those hotels now charge for parking as well. If you go to one in a big city, sometimes the cost to park your car is more than the cost of the room. Let that one sink in.
When I stayed at the Hilton in downtown San Francisco, the one in Chinatown, it was $60 a day for parking, but it was worth it because you park on the street, you know you're getting bipped.
Parking is also insane at sporting events. I remember the first time it registered to me when I went to a USC football game at the Coliseum, and I saw an advertisement for a parking lot where they were charging $100 to park your car. And now the city of San Diego is taking municipal parking fees to a completely different realm.
In San Diego, to shore up the budget, they jacked up trash fees on homeowners, and they decided to jack up parking fees to an insane degree anywhere that's near a special event like, I don't know, anytime the Padres are playing at Petco, which doesn't just mean that you're charging people for parking near the baseball game. You're pretty much charging people insane rates for parking anywhere in the Gaslamp.
And the city thinks they can get away with it.
For more, here's San Diego's ABC 10.
I'm ABC 10 News reporter Ava Kirshner. It's a Friday evening in downtown San Diego. The Padres have a home game, the streets are filled with crowds, and the parking meters only cost $2.50 an hour. Life is good, right? Well, at least until September. That's when the parking meter rates around the stadium will quadruple in price for special events. And yes, that includes Padres games.
$10 an hour for a parking meter.
Okay, those games can go on for 3 hours, and you usually get there early so you can get your hot dogs and your sodas and all of that.
What about those games that seem to go on for 7 hours?
Whenever it's over 100 degrees and you're in direct sunlight, it's almost a guarantee it's going into extra innings.
The typical scene for an event downtown now will come with a higher price.
What about $10 an hour?
That's a little steep.
Beginning in September, any major event at Petco Park will up the price for meters a half mile around the stadium.
That's an entire downtown area that's a half mile from that stadium.
Do you remember what kind of pushback Major League Baseball got when they decided that they were going to change the price of the tickets depending on what day it was and who was in town? For example, in the 80s, if you were to buy Angel tickets, the cost to see the Angels play, I don't know, Kansas City or Minnesota would be the same as watching the Angels play the New York Yankees. But when they realized that tickets against the Yankees were much more valuable than tickets against the Minnesota Twins, they then charged you a different price to see the Angels play the Yankees than you would pay to see the Angels play the Twins. Now they're taking that philosophy and applying it to parking too.
You know, when the Angels pay the White Sox, they actually pay Lewis to go to those games.
They should.
This is the map inside that zone. Residents on the edge say they are closer to a mile away from the park and shouldn't have to pay.
The bigger issue is they said it's within a half mile.
And they're doing it way further because, of course, they're going to cover the whole Gaslamp because, of course, they are.
Because they can.
The bigger issue is they said it's within a half mile.
How dare they? That's one of the most fun downtowns in the entire state.
San Diego had a city government that actually functioned for a very long period of time. Kevin Faulconer was a good mayor. They had a series of good mayors. Everything was fine in that city. And then the moment they switched to a Democrat mayor, it was Bob Filner, and then he got kicked out for sexually harassing basically anything in a skirt. And then after Faulconer termed out, they went to that guy who was in the assembly, and he wrecked the town immediately.
The bigger issue is they said it's within a half mile of Petco Park, and we are further than a half mile, but included in the increased rate. It's not right for us. It's not right for residents.
The increased rates begin 2 hours before the event and 4 hours after the official start time.
And when you're calling a Padres game a special event, there's 100 of those a year.
This is just a license to gouge.
So for a typical 6:40 p.m. Padres game, meters will be $10 an hour from 4:40 to 10:40.
Well, now with the new rates, we're going to have to pay attention to when are the Padres games, when are the concerts. I never had to pay attention to that before, so now I have to schedule my life around when these games are and when.
This is going to tell the locals to avoid downtown.
At what point do the Padres and all of those local businesses push back on this insanity? Because it's going to turn into Las Vegas Part 2, where if you're gouging your customers and you're making it obvious that you're gouging them and you're doing it with the explanation of, yeah, we can, at some point you lose your customer base. At some point they stop going to the games. They stop going to that part of town.
Well, and a lot of people end up doing the math. When you charge exorbitant rates for parking, people start calculating, is it cheaper to Uber? And then they do that. And guess what? You're not getting that parking revenue. And then everyone can drink more.
My life around when these games are and when I can have people come over, when before it really was not a part of our lives.
A city representative told ABC 10 News that having multiple rates on the same block would cause confusion. So that's why some extra...
We don't want to confuse people by only making it $10 an hour here. We're going to make it $10 an hour everywhere.
Because why not?
So that's why some extra areas were included or excluded from the zone. There is no specific restriction on the size of the special event pricing zone that the city has to follow. In downtown, I'm Eva Kirshner, ABC 10 News.
So that's what's going on in San Diego. Anytime there's a special event, whether it's a Padres game, a concert at Petco, I don't know, the entire week of Comic-Con, $10 an hour parking meters.
And it is possible to push too far. Las Vegas is the ghost of Christmas future. We've spent some time talking about their troubles, and when we come back, we're going to give you an update on just exactly how the greed in Las Vegas is causing that town to suffer. The city of San Diego thinks that there will be no consequences for them jacking up parking rates to $10 an hour on city streets with city meters. However, I am firmly of the belief that you can't push people too far, and we're seeing evidence of that right now in Las Vegas, Nevada.
In fact, they're calling it the Las Vegas price gouge. And it started as a local story. We've been talking about it. But now the Las Vegas price gouge has made national news because, Johnny, it's being talked about on Inside Edition.
Well, it was only a matter of time.
For more, here's Inside Edition.
What is going on in Las Vegas? Social media is filled with tourists experiencing sticker shock when they get the bill for practically everything. And it's having an effect on tourism with a drop in visitors to Sin City. Jim Murray has our report straight from the Vegas Strip.
Jim Murray, that's Royal Oaks' buddy.
Yeah, he did some fill-in work at KABC at one point.
You guys would not believe me.
Across social media, tourists are complaining of what's being called the Las Vegas price gouge. This coffee?
It looks pretty, but this costs $28.
$28 for a coffee?
$28 for coffee. Those beans better have been roasted by Juan Valdez himself.
You know, you can get cocaine for cheaper than that.
Well, I'm sure they're gouging on that, too.
You know what? You might be right. I haven't bought drugs in a very, very, very long time. I don't know what inflation has done to that market.
This coffee?
It looks pretty, but this costs $28. This should literally be illegal.
This woman can't believe the cost of breakfast.
How is that $100?
$100 for breakfast?
And if you go to a Hampton Inn, they give you the Keurig coffee in your room for free. If you stay at a hotel on the Strip in Las Vegas, you have to pay for the Keurig cups in your room.
And this dude says stay away from the hotel minibar.
That's not a lot of potato chips.
Okay, I understand a lot of the outrage that's going on here. The minibar has always been a ripoff. If you're dumb enough to get something from the minibar, that's on you.
Well, just wait until this guy stumbles upon the intimacy kit and finds out what they're charging for condoms.
And this dude says stay away from the hotel minibar.
That's not a lot of potato chips.
And look at what they're charging for this here balloon.
I'm never going to have a use for it, but I want to remember this.
That's not a lot of potato chips.
So that's going in the drops folder just because I want it. Not a lot of potato chips. Welcome to the drops folder that grows every single day. We'll see you in December.
That's not a lot of potato chips. Those boxes are $12 a piece.
$12 for a little bag of chips?
That's grotesque.
These ladies are in shock.
We just paid $50 for a salad.
For lettuce?
Also grotesque.
Yeah, it's absurd.
This tour.
It's that kind of situation where, and this has been going on for a few years, that's the kind of bad experience, especially a price-related experience, that they'll go home, they won't come back, and they'll tell all their friends and all their neighbors how much it costs to go to Vegas before they're not even talking about alcohol or gambling here. This is just on the basics.
I remember when I was a child and I would talk to people, adults, who had been to various international destinations. Oh, I was just in Hong Kong, and you're not going to believe what they charge for macadamia nuts. For faraway exotic locations, I get it. It costs a lot of money in some of these countries. In Singapore, for example, it's a tiny little island and they have to bring everything in, so it's just going to cost a lot. But Las Vegas?
This tourist has had enough.
We paid $20 for a Coke last night.
A $20 Coke?
$20 for a Coca-Cola. And that's just without any booze in it.
And this guy says he's the only Canadian he knows willing to travel to Las Vegas.
That shows you what kind of gambling problem he has.
Fine, these resort fees are disgusting.
You know, the price gouging's gotten so bad, the strippers only take 20s.
Fine, these resort fees are disgusting.
This June, tourism was...
It takes a lot for a Canadian to call something disgusting. You've offended the Great White North.
This June, tourism was down in Las Vegas by a whopping 11.3% from the previous year. This week, we found lots of empty casino tables and not a very crowded Las Vegas Strip. Travel expert Anthony Curtis.
Is Las Vegas in a slump right now?
Definitely in a slump. And people aren't sure if they should be spending their money right now. But the rest of it is...
And, of course, on the latest earnings call, the head of MGM said, no, everything's fine. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's in no way related to reality.
And people aren't sure if they should be spending their money right now. But the rest of it is...
If you are an economy based on tourism, you cannot squeeze your people this much. Everything that they have in Vegas, they have somewhere else that's probably better.
What they're going to have to do is they're going to have to do what Domino's Pizza did, which is publicly fess up that you screwed up badly and that you're going to fix it and make it good.
It's got to be attributed to what we call the Vegas gouge. And I mean, after the pandemic, prices were raised, fees were put in, they were gouging, and the public's kind of had enough of it.
But Jonathan Jossel, CEO of the Plaza Hotel and Casino in downtown Las Vegas, says if there's a great deal, tourists will still come. His hotel offers...
Stay off the Strip? I've heard that one before.